Hello, everyone. This is Rob Golfi with Remax, the Golfi team. Welcome to the Golfi Real Estate Show with host Stephanie Vivier.
Well, hello there, Rob. And I understand you have a special guest with us today.
Yes, we have Karen Roy, sales representative of the Golfi team. She works in our Niagara area. She lives in Fort Erie. And she's been, I don't know, how long have you been with me, Karen?
Oh, since I think it was like March 2020.
Yeah, so she's been with me for 4 years now. She's an awesome agent. If you want great service and you live in like Fort Erie or anywhere in that area, she's awesome. She's a great person. But the one thing I really want to talk about is we got the official numbers for the official numbers for the stats that's happening. And pretty well everywhere we're up, especially in Niagara. The only place that actually didn't do as well was Thorold. In Thorold, they were down 2% benchmark price from year over year. Like now last year, in the last quarter or even last 5 months of 2023, I mean, the market was dormant. Like nothing was happening. But now things are changing with the interest rates change, especially the half point that happened a week or two ago. And Fawn Hill, just to give you an idea, Fawn Hill Pelham up 5% year over year. It's showing that the benchmark price for October of 2024 in Fawn Hill Pelham is $901,700. Totally amazing. And Fort Erie up 15%. I don't know what happened there. Something must have happened in Fort Erie. And there was 46 sales, so a lot of people were jumping on the market there. Grimsby, unbelievable, up 32% with 42 sales. And the sales numbers, they seem to be going to a normal level. So things are changing. And where else is here? Niagara Lake is down 6%, but don't even look at Niagara Lake numbers just because they're up and down every month, and that's been going on since Niagara Lake started. When they started with what do you call it? What's the chocolate person there? Niagara Lake, Laura Secord.
Oh St. David.
Since Laura Secord days.
Laura Secord days.
Yeah, but in the Niagara region, it had a continued upward trend with a 48% sales boost compared to last year, alongside with a rise, and this is all in Niagara, with a 642,500. Now, demand has started to stabilize with moderate inventory shifts, suggesting strong appeal for home buyers in search, affordable homes. So things, I'm telling you right now, still opportunity out there, still opportunity. The Hamilton area, is still jumping. There's only one area. It was Glanbrook. It was down 3%, but pretty well everywhere is up. Waterdown is up 10%. Burlington, the high-end area, is down 7%. When the high-end areas get it's hard for it to keep climbing because it gets to a certain level where it just can't. People just can't.
It's saturated.
Yeah, that's it. Because it shows Burlington down 7% in benchmark price. Even Halton Hills down 11% in benchmark price because they just went up way too high. Brantford down 8% benchmark price. It's just it's all over the place. But Niagara is actually it has done pretty good. And we're actually just prepping for our magazine to go out, our November, December issue, Christmas issue. That's going to go out. And everybody's going to see the numbers there. And these numbers that I give you, like everybody's giving numbers. My numbers are benchmark price. They're real numbers that they're not. You know how everybody says average price? If you get a small area, town, it could be like Thorold, it could be Niagara Falls or whatever that has, and then you get a couple of big sales that happen. It will construe the numbers if you put average price, because if you get a $10 million house and you mix that with all the other sales and average price, the average price is going to go up, and it doesn't give you the true price. So what we do is we go benchmark price, the median price, and it kind of eliminates the big high end homes and a little bit of the low end, and it gives you the real true what the values are going for in that city, and that's what we go by, and they call it benchmark price.
So you're kicking out the highs and the lows.
We're taking out the highs and the lows, and so if anybody says, well, the average sale price is like if they say it's 900 and I'm showing here at maybe 800, well, my 800 is the true value, the benchmark price, median price, and because it's eliminated, the high and low ends, like you said. So I just wanted to clarify that with everybody. And I do these myself personally. I look these up myself personally. I have no other third party because I'm very, very conscious of making sure the numbers are correct. And somebody came to me from somebody else that put a flyer out with the numbers, and I go, those are way off. I go, whoever they hired to get those numbers had no clue what they were doing, and obviously the realtor that put that out didn't look at it and proof it, and so I just wanted to let everybody know that these are true numbers. When you get the magazine, look for the magazine. If you have a super mailbox, empty that super mailbox so you can fit this magazine in there, so you can get the stats. And but yeah, no, definitely. It's always good to watch. I go to people's homes. They save every issue and they just kind of flip through it.
They do.
Yeah,
I see it.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I keep mine. They're beautiful, Rob. I really enjoy them. That's really helpful explaining the numbers because, of course, we get the Golfi magazine. We love the Golfi magazine. We do get other real estate advertisements into our mail, right? So thank you so much for pointing out the difference in the numbers that we're going to see, because it could be confusing for a homeowner to see, oh, well, such and such is saying that our prices are up this much, and Rob's saying they're only up 3%. So we're knowing that we're dealing with actual tangible numbers.
Yeah. And it should hit the streets around November 20th. So look for your mailbox, and it'll be awesome. And looking forward to it, and it'll be great.
Let's take advantage of Karen's expertise being here, being that she's from Fort Erie, and you mentioned this increase of 15% in Fort Erie. What do you think, Karen? What's going on down there? I had an opportunity to do a live broadcast there a few months ago. We're going to be back there again, and people are really discovering this area.
Yeah, we've been like a little hidden gem for so many years, and it's just really nice to see so many people discovering this area. I grew up in the area my entire life. I moved away for a little bit, and then I moved back. And, I love to be by the beach. There's so many things. You're close to the winery. A lot of people like to fly out of Buffalo. So, living in Fort Erie, and there's just, you've got the beautiful parkway. There's just so many amazing things. And as we've grown and have more people here, we've got, Saturday morning markets, and it's just a great place to be. I'm really happy I'm back.
When you look at Fort Erie compared to some of the other places in Niagara, very, very affordable.
It is. Absolutely. And, there's just different areas in Fort Erie. So depending if you want to still have a little bit of some acreage, you can still get something from 5 acres to 1 acre. Just, so there's lots there for everybody, and it is affordable. So, just knowing your numbers and knowing what's out there. Some places have septics, so it's the whole thing, just understanding those properties.
Yeah, a lot of people are moving out towards that area. That the population's growing, and it's showing. I remember before COVID, Fort Erie was a little bit of a tougher market to sell homes, and after COVID, it just made it easy, and just people started flocking there, especially Stevensville, because it's not that far from Niagara Falls, and quick access to the Queen Elizabeth Way. But that stretch of highway from Niagara Falls to go to the Peace Bridge in the wintertime with the drifts that go across the highway. Oh, you've got to be careful there. I've driven that road a lot during major heavy winters, and it's pretty scary. It's a scary road, so you got to be careful. But the one thing is, and the story I want to tell is that, and another thing I wanted to say is that, like, our agents live and work in the areas that they work, what I mean? Like Karen lives in Niagara, so just to let you know, everybody know that. And we have agents that live all across the Golden Horseshoe. But the one thing is Karen bought a pre-construction condo
I did.
And she's got a little story to tell about what happened, and I told her that it would happen. So listen, I'm going to tell this story. This is something, if you're buying pre-construction, especially people that are retiring too, because they're on pensions and stuff like that. But so Karen buys this pre-construction, and you move in, and then go ahead.
Well, I move in, and I bought pre-construction because, I wanted something new, and it was close to the water, and that's where I need to be.
This is in Fort Erie. No, where was this? Fort Erie?
Crystal Beach.
Crystal Beach.
Yeah, Crystal Beach Ridgeway. Yeah. So, so I bought pre-construction, and I've lived in a townhouse. I've had condo fees most of my entire life, so it wasn't a big deal. And so that was, obviously something I was looking at when I was purchasing this pre-construction condo. I had main level, there were so many things that ticked off the boxes. So I was super excited. And then, the condo fee, it was relative to what I was paying already elsewhere. And so I thought, okay, well, that, works within my budget. I'm okay with that. And then I was listening to one of your shows, and I remember Rob saying, you have to be careful because that first year they get you, it looks good, and then second year, third year, they jack the prices, the condo fees up.
They do.
And I'm like,
he has said that many times,
right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, it was like a little bird chirping in my ear, and I was like, no, yeah, but that probably happens in Toronto and bigger metropolitan areas and blah blah blah, and then. And then, so you were right. I was listening, but I just didn't, we all never think it's going to happen to us, though, right? It's going to happen to somebody else that you're going to feel really bad for. But it did. It happened to me this week.
So you get an assessment in the mail, and your condo fees are going to double. Is that correct?
Yeah, the condo fees are a little over doubling.
Can you so that's crazy. So you bought. What did they estimate your condo fee is going to be when you purchased? This was
it went up a little bit, but it was under mid 200s.
Okay, so let's say 250. Now what do they
550.
550.
Wow.
Can you believe that? And that's why I'm not a big fan of condos. Okay, I'm just not it because you buy it on paper, and when it's built, your condo fees are going to be this much money, this much, and you're like, okay, no problem, and then all of a sudden you move in, you're there for a year. How long you been there? 18 months?
Not even. I moved in July 2023. So just a little, just coming up to that point.
18, let's say a year to 18 months. And then they come up with an assessment, and it's double. If you're on a fixed income, let's say you're retired, and I know a lot of retirees in different areas, we're talking in Grimsby, Stony Creek, and Hamilton, and Niagara, where they build condos. I know retirees moved in based on the condo fees, and they have to sell because of the condo fees went up so much. My son bought a condo in Grimsby, and I said to him, don't buy new. I says, buy it when it's about a year or two old, because you get to know what the real condo fees are going to be, because that's when they start, doing it. And he even bought it after a year old, and they went up like crazy. Yeah. And he said, never again. I mean, you got to be prepared. If you're buying a condo, it's better to buy something that's about 3 to 5 years old, and because they pretty well understand what their fee cost is to run that condo building. But if you buy pre-construction, you better be prepared, and you better know that you can afford to pay it, because they will jack up the condo fees there. And I know we got to go to break. We'll continue after the break for sure.
Yeah, lots more to talk about here, of course, with Rob Golfi on the Golfi Real Estate Show. A special guest with us today, Karen Roy, sales representative of the Golfi team as well. Both Karen and Rob are going to stick around, and we'll be back with more Golfi Show right here on News Talk 610 CKTB. Welcome back to the Golfi Real Estate Show. I'm Steph Vivier, and with us today, the one and only Rob Golfi from the Golfi team, and special guest Karen Roy, sales representative of the Golfi team. Karen, Rob, we were just talking about, Karen, your personal experience. You know, despite being a realtor and hearing Rob talk about condo fees many times, it happened to you. You had some what you thought were reasonable fees, and then you're there for a period of time, and they increased them on you.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a shock. Shock.
So they did they send you a letter? Did they call you? What's going on there?
Well, I have to say they did call. So
yeah, because they knew you're gonna. Right? Everybody's gonna freak out with a letter. I would get a letter like that. Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah. No, she did call, and everybody's gonna discuss these things. But good for her for calling, and because sometimes if it's bad news, nobody wants to be the delivery person.
Yeah.
And obviously I knew it wasn't her, but I'm glad I was sitting down when
I think you guys should do a class action lawsuit against the developer. Like everybody comes together, but a class say, listen, we bought this condo based on condo fees of being $250 a month. Now you guys are looking for $550 a month. Like that changes the dynamics of your lifestyle. And I think, but my understanding is you guys is everybody in the condo complex getting together to talk about it?
Yeah, we're going to chat. Everybody's going to discuss this so that everybody has a clear understanding. Because unless you know exactly, or if there's any wiggle room or whatever, like that's the part that I think is the unknown, right?
Yeah, I would actually get a lawyer. I would get a lawyer and get a lawyer to send the Condo Corp a letter indicating that if they pursue this, that you can sue, because not only that, it will affect the value of the condo, because people are going to look at it and say, I don't think I want to pay $500-600 for condo fees in this building. Like it's a new building. Really, why do they need so much money? Because everything's brand new. They won't need to do anything to the building for at least 15 years, like furnaces, like all maintenance and stuff like that. So why? So, what's their theory? What's their reason?
Well, I didn't know if it was partly because we have a pool and everything like that being built, and that's still not ready. So I didn't know if it was coming from there. But when I looked at the spreadsheet, it looks like it's coming from one specific area being snowplow, like maintenance, lawn maintenance, and snow. So I didn't understand that. So I think, that's just another great way to be able to talk this out and understand, because
how many units are in the building?
Well, it's a small building. It's not even a building. So we're stacked condos.
Oh, stacked condos. There's one above each other.
Yeah.
Right. So how many units are there?
So there would be probably 26.
So 26. And you guys are paying $250 approximately per month. So they were getting $6,500 a month. You times that by 12. I mean, that's like $78,000. Like for cutting lawns and snow plowing, there's more than enough there right now. Now, why?
And it's not a surprise too, right? Cutting lawn and snow plowing. We know where we live. We knew that was going to happen. Like that math should have been done right before.
Yeah. Like I could see probably maybe $20,000-$30,000 for lawn maintenance and snow removal, per year. I don't know. Like I mean, I've got properties that I have contracts for snow removal, but I'm sure it's not as big, but as the complex that you're in. But I don't think it's going to be that much. Like I understand lawn maintenance, I understand snow removal, and so I don't know. I think you send a letter to the Condo Corp and say, hey, you're going to pursue this. We're gonna sue you, and that's it. And they'll readjust that price. I guarantee it. They'll drop it about $150 or more. They just can't do that. I mean, like, what if a student, or not a student, a young family, like a couple, they barely just got enough money for the down payment. They figured out their costs. They went to the bank, and the bank says, you qualify as long as the condo fees are this much and this much. Right. And now they're going to have to deal with this extra $250 a month expense that they have on top of the interest rates that, thank God, they're starting to come down.
And that was always something I had looked at too, because what you have in a mortgage is one thing, and then now you're adding another $500. if I decided to buy a detached or whatever, right, I could buy something, you know, a lot bigger, whatever. I just enjoyed living in a condo because I like to shut the door, lock it, and I don't have responsibilities for, you know,
which is fine.
Plant flowers.
And that's and that's fine because you when you were buying the condo, they said the fees were going to be $250 a month. It is sad. I know a lot of people go through this, and especially seniors, they go through it, and I get calls, and they you know, special assessments, and they get whacked hard, and they're in tears. Like especially seniors, they're in tears, especially if they're widows and they're you know, trying to find a place where they don't have to worry about it. They just they you know, everything's taken care of, and they're on pensions and stuff like that. It makes a big difference. And I think you guys should get together, hire a lawyer, and send a letter. And I'm going to tell you something that will save you money. Every single owner that owns in that complex will probably save over $1,000 to $1,200 each for the next few years. And because these condo corps, I know they do take a lot of money for themselves. I know that. Like, so they want to pay themselves more.
Well, I've taken lots of phone calls this week.
Fight it. That's it.
That's really the only recourse you have, right, Rob? Because once you live in the place, if you don't pay the condo fees, then you can be in trouble.
Well, you could be in trouble. They could take it over from you, and because the condo, like if you're not paying the condo fees, they can evict you out of there. They could say, sorry, we'll foreclose on you, sell it, and get our condo fees, and then now you're out of luck. But it is sad, and it's not fair. And I think that I don't know if you could do this if you're buying a condo. Say, hey, listen, you're saying these condo fees are this much. Maybe you have a schedule in the contract that says, hey, I have no problem with, I understand there's increases, but it shouldn't exceed more than 4% a year.
Yeah. I think that's something that is another great piece of advice.
Yeah. Like it's, you really got to look at that. Like, I mean, people, when they're buying condos, I mean, they're and the seller there, the builder, the developer. The condo fees are going to be only $150 a month. Yeah. You know, that's what they do to hook you in to buy. You got to be careful. And you know what? And it's sad that they do that. Like, I mean, like I said, get the lawyer to send a letter to the condo corp, and it'll shake them up a bit, and they'll probably readjust that price. I guarantee it, they will. And because now you guys are willing to fight. But if you, like I said, let me know how. Let me know how that goes, because like even like condos, it's crazy. Now there was one condo developer, he sold, and then. There were great prices before it went up in 2021 and 22. They were selling in 2019 and 2020. And then they saw the market go crazy. They canceled everybody's sale and then try to resell it. And see how they are, the greedy. Just sell it. There's a developer in Burlington. Now, he could have said, we're canceling the contracts because it's all in favor of the developer. And he could have resold it for way more money. But he didn't. He honored it. A developer in Burlington, he honored the lower price, and people appreciated that. I mean, like, okay, he could have made maybe $5-10 million more, but he says, no, you know what? My reputation's important. He still made money on the project, and maybe not as much as he anticipated. But because of cost of construction went up, but he still made money, and he honored the price that he did. And those people that did end up buying and closing on those deals, they benefited because they moved in on a property that was worth a lot more than what they signed on when they first bought it.
Yeah.
That's integrity there. That's the kind of person you want to do business with. And he may, lose some money there, but he's not going to lose sleep at night. He can look at himself in the mirror, and moving forward, who knows what that means exponentially for his business, because that you can't buy that reputationally to say, I stand by my word. I sold it for this much. And even though I have this opportunity, I'm not going to take it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fight them, Karen. That's it.
Karen, you need to come back and update us here on the Golfi Real Estate Show.
I will, please. For sure. Absolutely. Thanks.
All right, let's talk about it. If Karen decided to sell her home, she's been there a little more after a year, but you've got some cautions for us today for those who have been in their homes for less than a year and want to sell.
Yes, be very careful. CRA is watching people that are buying and selling their homes within less than a year. The law it was announced in 2022. The federal budget requires that anyone who sells a property within 365 days of purchasing and declare an increase in value as business income, because the usual tax exemption for primary residence won't be granted. So usually, when you have your primary residence, it's tax free. Now, new rules also apply to condos purchased via sales and retroactive to January 23. Now, for example, an increase in value of $100,000, right, which didn't happen after 2022 as much, but would incur a tax that ranged from $28,000 and $53,000 in Ontario, depending on the individual's income. So if you made $100,000 on your house and you bought and sold it less than a year, you would have to pay that tax. The exemptions to the new law may be granted by the Canada Revenue Agency in situations where homeowners are forced to sell due to one of the predetermined events. So, for instance, the exemptions include death. Well, the guy's dead, he doesn't care anymore. He's not going to have to pay taxes. Disability or illness, new addition to the household. Like if there's a new addition, let's say, the house is too small. Yep. Marriage breakdown that results in spouses living apart for at least 3 months before the sale. Threat to personal safety. It could be neighbors. It could be, maybe you got a stalker and he knows where you live. You need to get out of there. Involuntary job loss. You lose your job. Job opportunity. Maybe you have to relocate. Mm-hmm. Insolvency and destruction or expropriation of the property against taxpayers' will. So, for instance, if you want to move, I'm just giving you a little piece of advice. Well, no. I'm going to think, here's what I would do. So I'm not telling you to do this. I would say, disclosure. I would just say, hey, I got a neighbor that's got a pit bull dog, and he only puts it out in the middle of the night. So you're going to have to come here and see it. And I like to have my smoke and whatever, if anybody smokes. But just say you're threatened by a neighbor. It could be a neighbor down the street, could be a neighbor across the street or next door, and just say that. And, so, you just say you're scared of the neighbor. Just say, I don't like the way he looks, and he's looking at me kind of funny, and I'm scared to death. That's it. Or sell it on the 366th day. Close the deal on the 366th day of the year. So CRA is getting really, really on top of it, because people made a lot of money buying and selling homes. Some people even, bought two homes. They bought one, moved in, and then moved out, made a 50, 100 grand, and then bought another one and did the same thing, and they made a couple $100,000 tax free. So the government wants a piece of the action themselves. And so be very, very careful on that.
Is it still a thing that people can do that, Rob, or is it getting tougher to do that with these increasing prices?
Well, if you buy and sell within a year, and you made an increase, you're going to pay tax on that, unless you have a good reason to move. But I'm wondering if that's the same if you buy and sell in a year and you lose $100 grand. Do you get the tax write-off? So see, it's always a one-way situation.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be coming back.
They don't mention anything about that.
No, that's not in there.
No, so it's like the mafia. Eh? Like the government's like the mafia. They take, but they don't give. But I would probably try to challenge it. Say, listen, I had to move.
Yeah.
And things. So, but we have a guarantee ourselves. If you buy a house with us and you're not happy, we will sell it for free.
Are you kidding?
Yep, that's our. We have all the stipulations and everything. We will sell it for. So let's say, you can't just buy and flip it. There has to be a reason. But you have to buy another house, right? Because if you're not happy with that house, you're you're replacing it with another house. Yeah. So you can we have the guarantee that we will sell it for free.
Well, that's incredible. There's not a lot of guarantees in life, Rob.
No, but call us and find out about it. We have the guarantee. We can send you all the details on it. But if you're not happy with your house and it's something that maybe again it could fall under one of these things. Chances are, if you buy and sell, it's the way the market is right now. You're probably going to end up breaking even or maybe losing a tiny bit of money, but we have that guarantee right now.
And the number to call, 905-641-0308, 905-641-0308, robgolfi.com. Rob Golfi is with us today from the RE/MAX Golfi team, and special guest Karen Roy, sales representative with the Golfi team. You're listening to the Golfi Real Estate Show. We've got more coming up here on News Talk 610 CKTV. Welcome back. This is the Golfi Real Estate Show. I'm Steph Vivier. Our guest, Rob Golfi with RE/MAX, the Golfi team, and special guest Karen Roy, sales representative with the Golfi team. Oh, we have already learned so much, Rob. Cautions for those who are trying to move out of homes they've bought less than a year ago. Anyone looking to buy those pre-construction condos as well. Let's turn to another topic, which is one that a lot of people are dealing with, I would say, especially, our Gen Xers, maybe probably Gen Xers, hoping to buy their kids a home. And this has been something that I know you've talked a lot about. Families are really coming together to make this happen, but you've got some cautions, some things people should think about.
Oh, in regards to homeowners, or which one was that? The condos?
In regards to people who want to help their child buy a home.
Oh, help their children. Yes. Okay. So here's the big mistake a lot of people make, and you got to be very, very careful. It just depends on your income, depends on who you are. Now, if you're a parent and you want to help your child, and even this is if you're co-signing on a mortgage. Let's say you want to buy a cottage after, and you're on that mortgage, you may not be able to get that cottage. And so you really got to know what you're doing when you co-sign or you are putting money for your children and all that kind of stuff. And most kids right now do need a co-signer, just because they want to make sure that the banks are going to get their money. So and I get it. Like here's the one thing is fairness. What happens if you have three kids? Two of them are doing okay, and there's that one little, there's
always one.
There's the one that's just can't keep up with the other two.
We love them all equally.
Yeah. But now that one seems to get a lot more help from the parents than the other two. Okay, and the other two that are doing well, they say, "Well, hey, Mom, Dad, like, how come you're giving our little, scooter, scooter here, what do you call it? Timmy, we're giving Timmy, $50,000 to buy a house. How come you didn't do that for me?" It's like,
it's true.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of that going on. Because Timmy just can't quite keep a job as good as the other two can. But yeah, there's fairness involved. You got to watch if you sign on a dotted line. You have to be careful. Here's a big thing. This is huge. I'm going to tell you something. So let's say you're helping your kids out. And they're moving in, a couple, let's say your son is moving in with his girlfriend, and the parents say, "Okay, listen, I'm going to give you guys, $50,000 to put as a down payment." And let's say 2 years down the road, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Who gets the 50,000? And
Ooh.
if there's nothing, so you know what? I'll tell you, you parents out there, you make sure you get something in writing with that little future possible daughter or son-in-law.
It's true.
Because I'll tell you, once a person, like, if you give the 50,000, you're thinking, okay, I'm doing this. I love her. She's my future daughter-in-law. She's gonna have my grandchildren. Oh my God, you're gonna get all excited about that, and then meanwhile, she becomes a different person all of a sudden. But anyway, but you should have something in writing or put something on title that says that, hey, that $50,000 is yours as long as you're together. But if you guys split up, it comes back to me. And you can do that, and I recommend you do that. And it not only it's safekeeping. You keep it for your child. You don't so that money doesn't have to be split up with their partner. And because once it's a matrimonial home, it doesn't matter if you got nothing in writing, nothing that son or daughter-in-law signed. They have equal rights to that money once it's in there. So be very, very careful, because there's always problems with that. And there's a lot of problems. You give them $100,000. Guess what? That partner is going to get 50,000 of that 100,000 plus whatever the equity growth of the property. So, would you
guys have those kinds of conversations with your clients? Like when you're working with clients, and I imagine you encounter these scenarios where mom and dad are helping out, and sometimes mom and dad are even there kind of picking out the house as well. Do you pull them aside and chat with them?
No, we just tell it on the radio just because.
Okay. You gotta listen to the show. This is where you get the nuggets.
Because we don't know how well they know. They say, oh, she would never do that, or he would never do that, and we just, like, if they ask us and they ask me, I'd say, for sure. If I'm in a conversation in like a party talking to friends, I would say something. But if I'm with clients and say, hey, by the way, if this one doesn't,
it's awkward.
if this one doesn't work out. you got to be very careful. Then just say, I just thought of, here's some paperwork that you may want them to sign, and just in case. So we don't directly unless they ask. But it's too late. They usually ask after it's too late.
What should I have done?
That's why you need to listen to this show. You're not coming up with this stuff out of nowhere. This is experience you've had.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. You know what? Like, it's crazy the stuff you have to do to protect yourself in this world. And, you know what I mean? Because I'll tell you, like a split up divorce can set somebody back many, many years. Like, I mean, it could set them back a decade, even more. Like I'm telling you, people, they get in serious financial situations that their life is totally upside down. So be very cautious. Always, hey, listen, I know people are in love out there, and it's all roses and everything like that, and they'll never do that. But I'll tell you, when real life kicks in, and you're there with your partner, and financial is one of the key figures that starts the relationship to go sour. It's financial.
Yeah. And vows are just vows until they become actions. And you don't know that on the wedding day when you got the pretty dress on.
No, you didn't know he likes to sleep on a couch every single day. He didn't know that he didn't. He was like, what's the matter? I thought you didn't see the guy when you moved it. Now everybody does a test run. Everybody moves in together now.
Oh.
Yeah. You should see, before 30 years ago, nobody. You went from your parents' house to your spouse. Now, all those grandparents now, the grandkids are moving in with their partners. You know what they say? They go, "It's good that they do that because everybo's doing it."
Right. Oh my God.
Well, and some of them say, "I wish I could have done that. I don't know if I'd be in the same situation."
For sure. But you know what? It's like, but it's totally changed. People move in together first, and then they say, "Hey, you know what? Okay, I think I can take this one,
or not,
or not. I think I better do the midnight run with no paperwork. Midnight run, no paperwork. It's good to rent. It's good to rent first. It's good to rent first and have your partner sign the lease so you can get out whenever you want. You do the midnight run.
All the wisdom you get here on the Golfi Show. You're not going to get it anywhere else.
That's it. Yeah.
Let's talk about the case, though, where mom and dad are putting down that down payment, and they also have an opinion about the house. What's your advice on that? Yeah,
it gets a little tough because they're trying to protect their child. Yeah. And sometimes they overdo it, and they could end up losing the good house that they should have gotten. And then when they blow that deal, because it was the best house for them, the best price, the best everything, and the parent just kind of squashes that deal, and then you're still looking for another 2, 3, 4 months, and the parents don't look anymore. They just buy the house because they know they screwed it up big time, and the child will always throw it in their face. Yeah, that house was really good, mom and dad, but you kind of ruined that for us. And at every so you go through Easter, you go through Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, Father's Day. You're at and it says, please find a house for these kids. Please find a house because I really messed that one up. So parents, believe me, I get it. You want to make sure that the kids are buying the right house, but don't overprotect them, because that house that they brought you in that they're looking at buying is probably the right house. I get you. Look in the attic. Look at what the cost is. Show them the details. See if they can afford it. But do not squash the deal because it's got a crack on the floor in the basement. Every basement that you go to has hairline cracks or cracks on the concrete floor. Yep. So we have people like, well, look at this hairline, and then I'll tell the guy, I said, do you have is your basement finished? He goes, yeah. Did you buy it that way? Yeah. I said, why don't you lift the carpet up and see how many cracks you have under your floor?
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah. I said, you've been living with cracks and you don't even know it. And, but they realize after that special house, which was the right house for their kids, they blew it. And then after that, the kids will say, I don't want you coming with me anymore. Unless they're the ones that are giving the down payment, then they're still in the game, So you have to be very careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about legalities in terms of the actual, okay, so I'm mom and dad, I'm going to give them, $100,000, whatever it is for the down payment. Should they come up with agreements between the kids? Because sometimes those relationships go sour over money too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They should have an agreement. There should be something in writing, or they just put it against the house, title against the house. But the banks, they want it to have a letter that's saying it's a gift, not a loan. But most people do loans, but they write it as a gift. So hopefully the parents trust the kid enough to say that they don't come back saying, "Oh, I thought this was a gift." It's
convenient.
The other siblings are going, okay. So things change a lot, but yeah, they should have something in writing that in case of anything that happens. I personally, if I was lending my kids, like let's say $100,000 to buy a house, I would put it against on title. A week after, say, hey, we're going to put this on title that you owe me $100,000 if anything happens, from this house, which is the best way to do it. And then you can get like, hey, anything happens out there, and we know it, we see it, we live it, and especially we do. And so be very, very careful. Make sure you're very cautious when you're lending money out to your kids and their partners, so that you're not saying, I wish I did it differently. And just give me a call. I'll tell you how to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Rob has those answers for you. Hey, let's talk about you started by telling us some of the stats, some positive things year over year, particularly happening here in Niagara. We are coming we're a few weeks off of those interest rate cuts. Are you guys picking up in terms of those phones ringing, those appointments being booked?
Absolutely. Yeah. Things have picked up. They should have done that half point drop a month earlier, because it would have been really good for the housing and everybody else. But now, as we're getting in close to Christmas time, so that you're going to see people kind of back off and looking at houses, but then you're going to see a heavy rush starting in middle of January, going into February, March. Usually Niagara picks up in March, April. Hamilton area picks up in February. And then Toronto picks up middle of January. It's like a wave that comes towards Niagara. And so there's opportunity still there before that happens. Will house prices go up? I don't know how much it will go up. I think it will go up a little bit for the spring market next year, just because of the fact that the interest rates will probably go down another quarter to a half a point within the next 2 to 3 months, which is going to be even better. But yeah, I do feel that. I do feel that there will be competition in offers. People aren't going to jump as high. Like let's say there's 3 offers on a house. You're not going to see one guy going 100, 200,000 over asking. They're going to be going maybe 10,000, 20,000 over asking. Whoever's got the best, conditions or no conditions will probably get it. But so, yeah, like be careful. Don't blow your brains on if you're going in multiple offers, because there's a way to get the house, even though if you don't win the deal, hopefully there's a second round where you can actually win it. It just depends on the agents, how good the agents are that are representing the seller, and how good the agent is representing the buyer. When you got 2 good agents at it, you know what? There's a good chance that you will get that deal. So be very careful when you're hiring an agent. Hire somebody that like us, we sell a lot of houses. We got experience, and same thing with buying. We have a lot of experience there. So when we put a deal together, we put the deal together. So both parties win.
And if you're looking to make that move in Niagara, Karen Roy is one of the Golfi team members that you can give a call to, particularly in Fort Erie. Karen, it's been such a pleasure. Thanks for coming on. And you do have to come back and tell us the rest of this condo story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I will. Well, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Absolutely. That's Karen Roy, sales representative with the Golfi team. And of course, Rob Golfi with Remax Golfi team, the #1 real estate team, Remax team in Canada. And of course, why wouldn't you want #1 working for you? Give them a call at 905-641-0308. RobGolfi.com. That's RobGolfi.com. Rob, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're listening to News Talk 610 CKTB.